Today we're going to take a very unscientific look at the Apple Watch versus the iPhone versus the Garmin Vivoactive 3 and the UA Hovr connected pod. Over the last Thanksgiving break, I was able to pick up a pair of the UA Hovr CGR Mid, which has the Under Armour connected pod somewhere inside in here. And what that pod allows you to do is, without a phone, without using GPS, without having to even turn anything on, it'll record your stride length, your cadence, and it'll calculate a distance and a pace from that information. I had an opportunity to run the same exact run over by my in-laws a couple of times over that period with that shoe, and so I thought, I think I've run this exact loop before, and what other devices or apps have I used to record that with? So I thought I'd take a look at all those things. Some of these I have only one data point, some I have maybe two, so it's not completely scientific, but the couple of things that I do think that are useful about it is it's a completely open and unobscured route. I don't think there's any point where I'm underneath any trees along this entire route, and there's no tall buildings that I'm ever near, except for maybe if you count the cathedral in New Vienna, Iowa. But I don't run that near to that, so I don't think there's going to be any GPS bouncing, any sort of interference, nothing to obscure it. What I did was I took a tracing from Map My Run, the website where you can actually go and plot a route, and it'll tell you how far that route is. That route, according to the mapping, when I actually mapped it online, was 5.27 miles, and most of these runs I've ran 2 loops around, so multiply that by 2, it gives 10.54 run. That's going to be kind of the benchmark for what we're looking for. So the first one I'll look at is the Hovr CGR. Now this thing, it's an interesting shoe, and I'll talk more about the shoe in other videos to come, so hit that subscription button if you want to hear more about it as I put some more miles into it. First off the bat, the way that it works is after you run, you put your phone near the shoe and open up the app, and the data starts transmitting. I'm not sure how it does that or how that affects battery life. It's weird. It's magical and mystical. I'm not really sure how that works. I don't like it when I don't know how things work. That always kind of bothers me. It's a little bit irksome. One of the things I did notice is the first run that I ran in them, the shoe, it tracks your overall lifetime miles in that shoe. The shoe knows that I ran those miles, but if I actually go and look in the data for my historical data, that run is nowhere to be found. I have other runs in there, but it's just gone. So it knows I ran those miles, but it won't show me the data from those miles anymore. So that's a little bit annoying. And in the lifetime miles that it shows me, it's giving me a number that's different than if you add up all the miles from the workouts that I've done. And I do know the amount of workout that I have, even that with that missing mile accounted for. And it's giving me a number that's bigger than adding up the miles that it tracked. So it's also counting like walking miles in there, I think. So I don't really like that because I don't really count walking miles normally, although I walk a lot. So maybe that's a better thing for me to keep tabs on. But so I had 2 runs I had 3 runs total, 2 that were showing up in the app as of today. I think I took a video of that first one though, so I could probably go back and find it, but I don't remember it being too far off from these other 2, and they were both very similar. So on 2 consecutive days I ran the same loop 2 times each day, and on the 23rd of November I got 10.79 miles, and the following day, the 24th of November, I got 10.82 miles. So only off by 3/100ths of a mile. So really excellent. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Comparing that to, let's compare that then to the Garmin watch. So I ran in the Garmin watch all last year. I've run over 1,000 miles in it. I'm not exactly sure how many miles in it, but well over 1,000 miles in this. And on the Garmin watch, I got 10.4 for the exact same loop, going back to a tracing from August 18th of just this summer. So a quarter of a year ago, just 3 months ago, I got 10.4 miles. A little bit closer to the 10.54, underestimating it rather than overestimating it, which is what I would always prefer. But overall, as a general concept, people are like, I can't believe it's 0.03 off or 0.2 off or however much things are off. As long as they're off consistently, to me, that's all I really care about. If things are off just kind of wildly and arbitrarily, that's bothersome. But if this is always giving me 10.4 for the 2, or this is always giving me 10.8 for the 2 laps, I'm relatively happy as long as we're still in the ballpark. The next two that next couple of, and I'm just going through these in just kind of random order, is that the Apple Watch 4. Now, this one, from what I understand, and this is mind-boggling to me, why you would put a GPS radio in a device and then only use it when it's not tethered to your phone. That makes no sense to me. Apparently, that's how the Apple Watch works. So what I did was, it's not perfect. One of the days when I was doing this and starting to collect this data, it was from the 24th. So one of the days where I was using the footpod, I was going to try and use the Strava app from my phone, but unfortunately my daughter had spent the morning, or the baby had spent the morning watching Baby Shark and Peppa Pig videos on the iPhone, so I didn't have a full charge and my phone died about 2 miles into the run. And so at that point, I guess the GPS on the watch takes over, and I had 10.6 miles for the run that day for the 2 laps. So I guess 2 miles of iPhone GPS and then 8.6 miles of Apple Watch GPS. But I got 10.6 miles, so that's actually pretty close to the 10.54. Other times when I've used just the iPhone app using Strava, that takes us back to November 22nd of 2017. This is back before I had any GPS trackers. That tracing for 2 laps was 10.63, so off by 0.09, very close, and I think probably almost identical iPhone and Strava versus the Apple Watch Series 4 with a little bit of iPhone in there. But that's the data. Everything's relatively close. I think that the footpod overestimates how much you're running by a little bit, at least compared to a Map My Run actual tracing that I did along a map. The rest of the devices, the Garmin, the Apple Watch Series 4, and even the iPhone are all pretty similar. Now, granted, these were kind of like pristine GPS conditions, and I wouldn't expect GPS to vary all that much between devices, even very expensive or even very cheap devices, or devices that I usually have a lot of problems with, like the iPhone GPS. I think that what I would probably should do, in the interest of thoroughness, is do the same thing for my run commute. And now that I finished that ludicrous 10 for 10 run challenge, I think what I'll do is I'll try to run the exact same run commute every day for a couple of days using a variety of these devices. I'll probably try to do these at the same time so it's just faster that way. And also, if I could do all 3 of these at the same time, maybe I'll do like all 4 of these at the same time. Maybe we could do that. Yeah, I think I could probably do that. I'll do all 4 in one. I'll just turn off the Bluetooth connection from the iPhone to the Apple Watch, and then, yeah, that's going to be bonkers. But I think that'll probably be coming up, and that'll be a follow-up to this video. But I had a rest day yesterday, and this was something that I wanted to kind of set as a baseline and use for a rest day video. And so that's my data. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'm sure you guys have lots of feedback. Most of them are going to refer to things that DC Rainmaker has said that are probably exactly opposite to what I've said. And if that's the case, and it probably is, I will obviously defer to him because that guy's amazing. But before I go for today, I want to talk about today's charity runner. What I do on the channel is I try to support a different charity runner every day, give them $5, and then tell you guys about what charity they're running for and what race they're using to raise money for it. Today's charity runner is Tahnee Lacey. She is Trainer Tahnee on Instagram. She's going to be running the 2019 Chicago Marathon for PAWS Chicago. PAWS is a local no-kill animal shelter whose goal is to provide a way for animals to find permanent homes. And I think this is her 4th or 5th time running the Chicago Marathon for PAWS, so that is absolutely fantastic. I'll put a link to her fundraising page in the description, as well as a link to her IG if you want to check her out there. That's all I have for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yo, what's going on?